This skateboard is made by Mad Gear. I'm guessing it's established in 2002, as you can see, in Australia. Weight limit's 115 pounds. We're not going to have that problem. I don't weigh 115 pounds. I weigh much more than that. We're not going to weigh this. Take the 4 screws out for each side, and then we have to drill a hole, and then we'll get to the next step. We now have both trucks off, and we have the board. We'll peel off the rest of this. And what I'm going to do next is get my chamfering tool, and I'm going to countersink for the 1/8 thread rod. That's just the thread. I have to find out what the whole size it is and tell you. And countersinking on both sides. That way I don't have to buy a longer shaft. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is called the twin cluster fixer socket. That's what it looks like. It has this little knob here for the switch. We're going to probably bypass that. We may not. We may just leave it. But I would like to take and bypass it and just have one switch. If we don't, we'll leave it and it'll be okay. I just don't want this standing out from the board. But this is what it's going to look like. This is going to be recessed into this, and that's what I want. I don't want that bracket sticking out. What I'm going to have to do to this is modify it. I have to take the screw and nut off on both sides. The small pair of Phillips. And hopefully I don't strip it out. There. We want to keep the nut and screw because we still want to be able to bolt this part frame here to skateboard. So you're going to keep that nut and screw. I'm going to take this one off on this side and keep it as well. And then you're going to remove the other bracket. And I'm going to take this bolt and the screw and the nut, and I'm going to reverse it so it's not sticking out. That way it doesn't stand out. And you'll see what I mean. I literally just flipped it around so when this faces outward, you do not see that screw and that nut. I have not watched any of the tutorials that other people have done. I'm kind of just doing it on my own and see what I can screw up on and learn from. We're probably most definitely going to be getting rid of this switch. I'm going to more than likely break it. We have plenty of wire here. What I'm going to do is cut this and then pull it back. I'm going to cut it, strip both wires, solder it, and I'm going to pull, and I'm going to have this heat shrink, and I'm going to pull this back so it's inside the plastic housing, and you do not have any wires exposed. We'll do that next. And so, here's the thing. The shaft, this is what I'm calling the shaft, this part here, is it's the same length, the same depth as the deck of your skateboard. So what I'm going to have to do is drill down on this side with a Forstner bit, and that'll give me enough room on the back side to put the nut on for this. So what it's going to look like is, this is going to look like the trucks, your wheels, and this is going to be fed through, and you're going to have wires on this side, and we'll have to figure out how to tuck the wires and make them look nice on this side. We'll get to that next. After we cut the wire here, solder it, heat shrink it, pull it through, drill our hole, drill our hole. So we have two switches, two lamp sockets like this, and they'll mimic the wheels, and I have light bulb sticking out on both sides. You'll see. It's going to be pretty neat. So I'm going to drill this hole first, the pilot, and this is a 3/8 Forstner bit. And then I have this guy chamfering, and it will make the hole wider on the back side so I can get the nut tightened on this end here. And that's what that's for. So I'm going to drill a hole, I'm going to make it nice and squared and round, and then I'm going to chamfer it down, make it like a bowl, and then we'll put it in. What I'm going to do first is mark where I'm going to put this before I start drilling. And after I have the hole drilled out, I'm going to convert that switch light socket. I don't think it really matters too much about how perfect this is going to be. It's going to be alright if it's off. You're not going to really notice. Preferably, you would have this in a workshop if you don't mind getting dirt on. But I have this in my spare bedroom, and I have carpet. So I'm going to put a piece of, just a trash bag, I believe. I don't know how long it is. It might be a 50 gallon. It is. I'm going to put this underneath here so I can just scoop it back up. And I'll have wood filings all over the place. Try to keep it in view for everybody to see. I'm sure if you use a drill, you know what's going on. I don't have to show you. If you haven't used a drill, it's not that hard. Just make it straight as possible. Make sure you're going in the forward direction. Got that one drilled. And we'll flip this around and do the same. And then we're going to change out the bits. We'll put in the Forstner bit. Now if I had a 3/8 drill bit, I wouldn't be worried about it. But I can't find my 3/8 drill bit. And ideally, if I found my 1/2 inch Forstner bit, I'd be able to make that pocket in the back really easily. That was easily done. That's kind of like a hole saw, but opposite. They drilled the perfect hole in the center there. And we're going to try my idea about the chamfering thing, see how it works. I may have to take and find my 1/2 inch Forstner bit and go that route. Also, make sure you tighten your bits up before you start drilling. Most of the time they'll lock. Leave that as is and do this side. I'll show you what I've done. You can see the close up here. In hindsight, I didn't think about this. So I made this hole the same size as the threaded part. So now I'm just threading that in just like this. And I necessarily probably don't have to have the nut. That seems that solid. I don't think that's ever going to fall out. So I'll show you exactly what I did for this side. You can see what I'm talking about. Nut right in there and tighten it down. Otherwise, that would be below the surface. So now I can actually get the nut on that and tighten it down just a little bit. Not that I think I need it. And I probably shouldn't have done this. In hindsight, now that I know that I could have just threaded this in, it wouldn't have had this problem. I'll know about it next time. Okay, so that's what it looks like right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut this wire here, strip the wire back, solder them together. Before we solder them, we'll put some heat shrink on one end, solder them together, put the heat shrink, and then pull the black wire back through the hole. And once I get my soldering iron heated up, I'll show you the process of doing that. And then we have this stuff in the back here, which I'm going to end up using this 6-foot drop cord. I'm going to cut this end off, strip it back, solder the wires to this, and then I'm going to get my inline switch and put it in on the power cord. I can just turn it on with the power cord instead of having something to pull, like a pull chain on this, and then mount it, and that should be it. Should be cool. Okay, so in order to figure out what wires you want to take and cut, you're going to go to find your black wire that's going through the skateboard, and you're going to shove it upward. And you're going to notice there's going to be one wire that's going to move. And you can shove it upward and you can pull it down. That's the wire you do not want to cut. The other wire that's stationary is the one that you want to cut, which would be this one. Actually, we're going to cut both of them, but one doesn't matter if you cut flush, and the other one it does. So this one is the one going through. We don't need this switch anymore. It's pointless to us. Useless to us by now. Next is the wire strippers. So I have a crappy one. You probably might have one like this. You might have one that's better. Let's look at the gauge of this. It is probably, I believe it is 18 gauge. Yep, it is 18 gauge. So you want to make sure you use the proper gauge there to strip your wire. We do not want to have any strands, cut or broken. Oh good, it's aluminum wire. Irrelevant, but I'm not sure exactly why I don't like aluminum wire. It works probably as good as copper. It just looks cheaper to me. And not like the end user ever going to see that either. Heat shrink. It is 3/16 heat shrink. I do not have my lighter back here, and that's what I need to get. I will shove one down on this wire here, and we will twist these wires together. This is not a military deal, it's just a simple twist. We're not doing it for strength, we're just doing it for continuity. Okay, now that side is done. I'm going to go get the lighter and work on the next side. You've already seen how this is done. You don't have to watch the second one. I will show this process. So here's the heat shrink tube. It's not that hard. You just slide it right over. Make sure you cover all the exposed parts. And if you watched my previous video, this is my little cigarette lighter holder. And this is what we're doing. We're just going to heat up this heat shrink. Just like that, and we're done. And last step on that part is just to pull the black wire through. Just like that. And now that wire is tucked and not exposed and shouldn't have any safety concerns. I did want to show this. This is copper and the other one was aluminum. That shows you how the quality control will be buying something from the store. Probably if I get into doing this more often, I will be getting most of my stuff from Amazon, and everything will be bought in bulk at once. Because there is a little bit difference in height of the stud on this from one to the other. And I know I didn't told you I wasn't going to show you this part, because you already seen the other one. I'm already talking. I'm already doing it. And we are going to light it. And let's push and tuck. Push and tuck. And there you go. Now all it's left is to wire this up here, which I'm going to take and use wire nuts. I'm not going to solder that. I'm not going to make it a permanent connection. I probably should. Let's see if they actually will fit. They will fit. Okay, well, I'll make this a permanent connection. And I'll just do the same process, strip the wires, heat shrink, cut and strip the wires, and then I'll fixate this somehow to make sure that it stays there and it's not going to be able to be pulled down. And then once that's done, we'll install the light bulbs and then power it up. Like I said, just cutting the end off the drop cord here. Trying to. There. And then I'm going to separate these two wires here. And just take and do like that. And I believe this is 16 gauge wire, which is good. It's perfectly fine. It does not have to match the 18. I would rather this be heavier than the 18. But you want to make sure you always look at your gauge of your wire and make sure everything's not getting nicked and all that. Another thing I wanted to bring up. So on your cord here, the rigid side and then the smooth side. The smooth side should be your hot and the rigid side should be your neutral. Make this a little bit longer. Not too long, but longer. There. Ow. No, I did not shock myself. It's just wire got nicked. And gonna cut the heat shrink. Cut the heat shrink. This wire here is already stripped back. They do this thing here. It's commonly done over in China. With those string, they will pull back the tubing, the wire itself. Okay. So we're going to. I am going to take and put the heat shrink on the main wire itself, and then twist all three of these together at the same time. That's going to be a challenge. I'm doing it at an angle. It's going to be soldered, so it's going to have a good connection. All of this is going to be rock solid, so I'm not worried about connection breaking loose or whatever. I just don't want to burn the board. I think I've already got some issues with it. We'll find out. I think the wire moved while I was heating it up. Should still be pretty solid. I'm going to test this other side. One last connection. Then we'll do the heat shrinking and plug the bulbs in, power it up, try to do this in real time, that way you're not wondering how long does it take to do something like this. If I didn't step by step this, I probably already would be done. I fumble on words and what I'm trying to say. That'll be good. Power's removed from the soldering iron. Now let's heat shrink this. You might have to take and get a larger heat shrink for this back side. Actually, you probably will have to. I've noticed this is kind of bunching up. Now, when you do these wires, you want to make sure that they're tight. And then when you pull the heat shrink up, if you roll it, if you just roll it back and forth, it will go up the wire and up and over most humps. And then we'll take and heat it up and it'll shrink. Same way on this side. There. Now that's done. The only thing I would need to do is attach the wire here. Somehow make that a permanent thing so it's not moving. But we'll get to that later, or maybe not. I'll just figure this out another time. I'm not going to show you how I'm doing that. Could just be as simple as a staple. Could be a Romex attachment. I'm going to figure that out. If it works for you to use the Romex staple, do it. Whatever works. Okay, let's plug this in. It's been fun. This is actually a 9-foot extension cord. Now you want to pay attention to what they call as wattage. You do not want to use too much wattage. You do not want to use too much current. So this will be able to handle 1,625 watts. It also handles 13 amps of power. I kind of went on the very, 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 very low end on the wattage thing because I didn't want this to overheat. This is just 40 watt LED bulb, which would make this 160 watts total. 4 times 4 is 16, right? So 4 times 40 is 160 watt. We have plenty of wattage to spare here. That's why I went with the LEDs. And they also were more of a round shape, similar to a wheel. And these were only like $5 for 4. Now I still have to put the inline switch, and I will do that at a later time. Inline switches are really, really easy to use. It's easy to figure out. These are what the bulbs look like. They look gigantic, and hopefully they're not too large for the skateboard. I think that's just about right. It looks pretty slick. Wait till you see this. This is going to be really awesome. really impressed with myself. I don't really do DIY tutorial videos on making craft stuff like this too often, because I never know what I'm getting myself into until I do one. And this is the first one that I've done, and I see some things that I could probably change in the future. Like I didn't put the nut down for this, and I could have. I will do that. So this is going to be the astronaut reveal. This is Walmart special. Let's turn the lights off. Let's find the end of the cord. Turn the lights off, and we'll plug it in. Looks like I get the one behind me too, huh? I'll be pitch black, spooky. Okay, maybe too dark and I can't see. There. Hopefully no smoke. Ooh, that's sick. Check this out, guys. That badass. Hey, if you pull this off, you put it on the wall, maybe go with a 10 watt or a 20 watt. It's going to light up the whole room and you won't have any problem. That's awesome. I just like this. This is going to be the thumbnail of the video. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you make yourself one of these. Really easy, cheap. I'll see you next time.